How's it going? Welcome back out to the banks of the McKenzie River. That there is the McKenzie, and she is raging from a Pineapple Express weather system that we had roll through here. Probably went away about 10 days ago. It came about 2 weeks ago, stuck around for a few days, dropped a ton of rain, and what you see behind me is what has all been coming down from the mountains and making its way down through the lakes and whatnot. And it'll probably be like this for another week or so as everything comes down through the lakes, through the reservoirs, and all the streams and stuff. Day one of the 12 days of Christmas future and past. Let's take a look at my opening of day one, my unboxing of day one back in the den. See you in a minute. Let's go to past Tobin, and then we'll come back to future Tobin. This would be present Tobin. I'm presently out. All right, welcome into the den. Let's see what I have. I've been waiting several weeks for today. Today is December 14th. So excited to get inside here. I do want to open it up gently. I'm a schnerd and I want to preserve. Ooh, what is that? It is Holiday Hinoki and White Sage. Focus. That's okay. I'm not going to focus on it too much. I'll show you guys out in the great outdoors. Holiday Hinoki and White Sage. Real briefly. So you see inside it's huge. We had the soap and the splash, and then it comes with this little insert. Yet to be released Ghost of Christmas Future. Scent profile. White peppercorn, clove bud, cypress needle, cedar bark, birchwood, Siberian pine, warm amber, crushed moss, and vanilla bean. Oh, brother, this sounds right up my alley. I'll take a picture of the rest of this and put it up on the screen, and I'll see you outdoors. I lied. So what I want to do with these, before I leave the den and before I head out, so I have the soap and the splash, haven't opened either. I'll probably wait to open the soap. But what I want to do so that I get to experience the dry down so that the review is a little bit more than the first impressions, and that's the reason why I do my content the way that I do my content. I'm going to give this a good shake. I'll open it up, put it on the back of my right hand, and between now and the time that I actually do my shave should be a couple of hours. It's 10 minutes after 11 a.m. So by the time I do my shave, it'll probably be around 1. So this should give me plenty of time to at least experience all 4 stages of the fragrance prior to getting out there and actually doing the shave. I am so excited about this scent profile. I was about to read it again, but I won't. Let's do this. I want to do this with all these that I take into the outdoors. It's a very generous amount that I just put on the back of my hand. It poured a little faster than I expected. So, first impression of the top notes. Peppery. That clove is right there. This is a great holiday fragrance because you're getting that clove. So on the top we have white peppercorn, clove, cypress, cedar, and then birchwood. Oh, fellas. Spicy, clovey up top. Not strong, not a punch in the face. Love it. Now, for real, I'll see you in the great outdoors. I'm happy I did. What did you guys think, right? Pretty cool, right? I'm happy I did it this way. So, talking with Douglas, that was about 11 o'clock that I opened that. It's now about 2:05 or so. So I've been wearing it for about 3 hours. And on the scent notes, you don't see sage. You see white peppercorn, clove bud, cypress needle, cedar bark, birchwood, Siberian pine, warm amber, crushed moss, and vanilla bean. My pre-shave tube 2.0. Bougie water bottle. That's cold. It's probably about 50 degrees out. Somewhere there about. A nice December day here in Western Oregon. The name of the fragrance is, of course, Holiday Hinoki and White Sage. Hinoki is a cypress that grows in central Japan. It's native to central Japan. I didn't see White Sage anywhere, so right after I did my unboxing video, I started sending Douglas messages, and he has been very busy, of course, and mentioned that he needed a nap, and we have talked back and forth since leaving the house. I could have swore that I didn't see White Sage anywhere on the scent notes, as you can see, and as the fragrance developed, somewhere around the middle, I started picking up what I could only describe as sage. She's chasing little birds. She's over here in front of me. Just want to make sure she stays out of that river. She's a great swimmer, but that river is flowing so fast that I just don't want her in it. Many of you know, come tomorrow, the 15th, it'll be a week since we lost our 12-year-old husky. Luna, if you don't know, is our 3-year-old German Shepherd. You'll see plenty of her in the B-roll, including my setup and a 360 around me. So on the back of my right hand is where I have the splash applied. And undoubtedly, around the middle is where this White Sage starts coming out. I have brought with me my V3 Starling. I'm going to throw a first use gem in there. I think they're the Blue Star. I can't quite recall. One thing I don't like about this new dispenser is I've had it for a while now, but the old gray one, and maybe it's just this one in particular, it doesn't line up all that well. Let's talk about the fragrance while I continue to get set up with this. Right off the top, you're going to get that peppercorn and the clove bud. That's exactly what I see sticking out. Something I want to point out too, right now while I'm still thinking about it, there's some really key words that Doug and Fran are using in this scent profile. Let's point them out real quick. Clove bud, emphasis on bud. Cypress needle, emphasis on needle. Cedar bark, not cedar, bark. Siberian pine, we'll talk about that in a minute. Warm amber, not just amber. Crushed moss, not just moss. Crushed moss. And then typically with a lot of his fragrances, you might just see vanilla, or it would say Madagascar vanilla. They do their own hydrosol, their own vanilla hydrosol, which is just fantastic. You can find that in a few of their fragrances. I'm not detecting vanilla. We'll talk about that as I go through the scent notes. And I haven't asked Doug if this is his hydrosol or what he's using. Before I ask an artisan too much, I like to develop my own opinion of a fragrance. Only reason why I was asking Doug about the White Sage is just because it's in the name and I wasn't seeing it on the printout. And Doug did tell me, I got scatterbrained, I think I was watching Luna, but that he made a mistake and didn't get White Sage on the scent notes. And that's the kind of mistake that I would make frequently. So I brought with me my Oregon thermos. Had hot tap water, as hot as the tap would go. Filled up my PAA indestructible scuttle. No. She's looking across the river. Haven't scooped yet. I want to scoop from the top. I'm going to put my thumb up here. Look at this beautiful pour. If I recall, it's just over a ½ ounce. That's probably going to be more than, oh, I wasn't holding it in your view. That's probably going to be more than enough. So that white peppercorn and the clove bud, they're going to jump right at you. I think Just to be safe, I want to go with a little scotch more. Just a scotch. If you don't like clove, you may not like this fragrance. The clove does stand out throughout the fragrance, as does the white peppercorn. The white peppercorn, I would typically describe, so you have black peppercorn and white peppercorn that are often used, right? And again, the key word is peppercorn. That's from what I'm picking up and what I understand just by reading white peppercorn, is this isn't the blossom or anything like that. It's the peppercorn. And so typically, black and white have a lot of similarities, but one of the places that you'll find that white peppercorn differs from the fragrance of black peppercorn is it's warmer and more intense. So right off the top, I'm smelling the clove, and it's I'm not a huge fan of clove, but it, in PAA style, is a perfectly well done clove. And I think that has something to do with the clove bud. It's beautiful. Right out of the get-go, you get this spicy, woody, warm animalicness that is coming from that peppercorn, and right there with it at the same time, I'm getting the clove bud. This will be my rinse bowl. The Green Ray 24 millimeter Tribble synthetic knot, one of my favorite brushes. Green and yellow, go Ducks. That's not the Packers, it's the Oregon Ducks, baby. My John Frum hat, I'm all schnurted out. After that, we find the Cypress Needle. Cypress is a, is that right? Yeah, with Cypress Needle, then Cedar Bark, right? I have notes right up here to the right. I have a mirror, kitty corner to your right, your left. Your left? No, your right. Am I right? Anyways, it's right down there. And so let's just talk about the Cypress Needle. If I got them wrong, something's telling me I got them backwards, but that's okay. The Cypress Needle is, cypress itself is citrusy. And there is a citrusy liveliness that kind of starts to pick up around the middle of this fragrance. And I do believe that is coming from the Cypress Needle. Hinoki is a cypress. I've never smelled the fragrance of Hinoki before. Got a little bit too much water. But between this warm scuttle and the Tube 2.0 that's on my face, we're going to be just fine. I am wearing one of my favorite Phoenix shirts. It's one of the first ones I bought. Bought this one several years ago. Absolutely love it. It's that 8-bit spaceship. All of my apparel from PAA is extremely well made. The Cedar Bark. So that's like another key word. It's not just cedar. Bark, for those who aren't familiar, we're like, it's going to be earthier, darker. This is an amazing, not my favorite, right? I have all of Doug and Fran's current line of winter holiday releases. I don't know if this one will ever be my favorite, right? I think Space Nog and Keepsake Fruitcake, Magi, and Kirmati are going to be hard to take down off that throne. Already I'm getting a better consistency than what I had a second ago. Go ahead and put it on the face. But I love this, and the wife and daughter still haven't smelled it yet. They're at school and at work. So that Cedar Bark, though, is a warm, festive, earthy woodiness. You got that clove and the peppercorn working together now with that Cypress Needle. And this is where I think that white sage starts coming in. If you're familiar with my content, you know I love sage. It's one of my absolute favorite fragrances. I've said it before, I'll say it now, and I'll say it again down the road. I still believe that sage is underrepresented in fragrances. I personally would like to see sage utilized more often. Siberian pine. This is my kind of fragrance. And you know, it may just grow on me. Look at that beautiful lather. CK6 is the Shiz Nick. It may end up growing on me because this middle and the dry down is just absolutely fantastic. Like I said, the peppercorn and the clove bud, they stand out throughout the fragrance. So as you're going down through these woods, that's mostly what you got here in the middle. You have cypress, cedar, birch, Siberian pine, warm amber, talk about that in a second, crushed moss, and then vanilla bean. Like I said, I don't pick out vanilla by itself, not yet. And I've been drying down for over 3 hours now, just over. Look at that lather. I love CK6. I still will argue with anyone till I'm blue in the face that when it comes to all the properties we're looking for in a tier 1 soap, CK6 has it. It's forgiving, too much water, no problem. I think most often people don't use enough water, and I'm guilty of that. Look at that. That is just gorgeous. Got you guys a little too high, but I don't want to bring you down too much lower either. All right. So that the Siberian pine, I actually had to look that up to see what the differences were between like your typical run-of-the-mill pine. Not that there's a run-of-the-mill pine. That was a bad analogy. But to see what set it apart, and it's kind of fitting the way that it was described, because you know, Siberia, when I think of Siberia, I think of cold and I think of snow, right? And it talked about it being a fresh and cooling pine. I don't pick that out by itself. In the middle, I find this very, and I think a lot of this is attributed to that clove, the white sage, and the peppercorn, just creating this warm, festive holiday fragrance. And it is wearable. You can wear this anywhere. Christmas parties, Christmas service, you know, to church, work, out with the guys, out with your lady. First use gem in my Starling V3. That amber is adding to that warm festiveness. And for friends of mine like Matthew Lawrence, I can't wait to ask Matthew's opinion on this. I know Matthew is a content creator here on YouTube and a friend of mine. Talked about him before. He's generally not a fan of powdery fragrances. I should have sent him a message asking him. But I can't help but wonder that even for a guy like him that doesn't like a powdery fragrance, I think guys like Matthew are going to like this. See, already my soap needs more water. It's not even wanting to come off of my razor. I really think though that amber is attributing to this festive holiday feel. Crushed moss. You know, I'm not really picking out moss by itself. Then we run into that vanilla bean, and again, I don't pick it out. I like this fragrance. I think my girls are going to like it as well. I can't wait to see what Emily thinks. Sometimes I think she's going to love a fragrance and then she like despises it. Let's add let's drip a little bit out. We're going to go with that. CK6, man, it'll take the water, and right now it's a little wet. That's okay. The Starling. I've used the Starling a bunch of times now. and I haven't got myself with it in a long time. I just gave myself a little nick, and that was my fault. You see how much wetter the lather is right now? Any of those cars slowing down to look at me? I know I would. Probably think I'm like a transient or some bum out here doing his afternoon shower and shave. They'd be half right. They might be all right. As long as you watch your movements with this razor, you don't try and talk and shave like I do. You'll be all right. I love this razor. There we go. It's a little wetter now, getting it to come off of the razor. When the soap is too dry, my rinse bowl doesn't work very well, but as long as I keep the lather hydrated, it does all right. DOG's being a good girl. Over here laying down for me. Time's sake, enjoy the river for a second. I did have my towel with me, and then she was making me nervous. Lay down, baby. Now I really regret it because she was laying down being good. Lay down, Loon. I'm afraid she's going to knock my stool down into the river. I want to try and do 3 or 4 shaves with this advent calendar. I want to practice my reel making skills. I have Emily that's going to assist me with a few of those. That's our teenage daughter. Everlasting Lumstick from Phoenix Artisan. But eventually I want to get around to using all of these. In case you missed my unboxing of this, with this year's Advent, we have 5 fragrances from Christmas past and 7 fragrances from Christmas future. This is from 5 from past, 7 from future. The future ones have no set release date. It's all going to depend on feedback and the demand. Doug and Fran have no set release dates, so if the demand is high for something, you'll see it sooner rather than later. And that's with all 12 of these. So if you like it or you really want to try it, my advice to you is email Phoenix Shaving, or at least send them a message on Instagram or on Messenger, or just comment like crazy in the Phoenix Shaving fan group. My 1 ounce bottle. I want to again thank Doug and Fran for sending this out to me. See right there, I get the citrusy, kind of piney, the citrusy pine. Maybe that's the clove I'm smelling. I really like this fragrance. I think it's going to grow on me. Most fragrances do. It's funny the way the nose behaves, and that's again one of the reasons why I typically do reviews the way I do. I don't like to review a fragrance if I've never shaved with it. Damn fine shave. 2 passes. Right here, I got a little that might go away as the skin settles. Beautiful. Well done, Doug and Fran. I really hope to see this one next Christmas. Can't wait to see what tomorrow brings. Got a few videos I want to record this weekend. You guys take care. It's the little big things. Don't worry about what's under the tree. Worry about who's around the tree. Have a great weekend. And Merry Shavemas. Merry Christmas. Be safe. Thanks again. Welp, how did the shave go? Hopefully you guys were able to hear me. That river sounds a little loud to me, but I don't think it's so loud that you're going to have any problems. Luna is waiting for me to throw a stick. Let's do a 360 to my left. This river is like home. Those of you that follow my content are quite familiar with the McKinsey by now. That's what's been making all the noise, that log there. And then I think it might be part of it. You can see right there's the really loud, yeah, there it is. In the center of your screen, that's what's making the bulk of the noise. Typically the river would be out there a couple more feet, probably a few more feet. Come on, out of the water. Find a stick. No, be quiet. Be quiet. Here's a little stick. You can see the river was all the way up to here. That's why all this is pushed up the way that it is, going up quite a ways. See all that litter, forest litter. Luna, no barking. All right, my setup. Right on the other side of that little holly there. Is that what that is, right? Holly. My Bass Pro Shop stool. My thermos there, Oregon thermos that had my hot water for my scuttle. My mirror. No barking. Be quiet. We're still working on that. My tripod hanging off of one of my short bungees from that tree branch right up there. Be quiet. Sorry for the fast movement. Down here to my left, my scuttle and my rinse bowl, my Smile scooper, and the V3 Starling. Thanks once again for joining Motormouth and I. She's moving fast. I'm trying to catch up with her. Luna, no river, not today. It's just way too fast. I don't want her out there in it. Hopefully she has stayed out of it during the shave. I do record this before the shave. I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. I want to say thank you again to Douglas, Francis, and Huxley for making wet shaving epic. Absolutely fun and epic. Nobody does wet shaving like Phoenix shaving, and I mean that. And those of you who know. Right, Luna? Yeah. Take care, guys. Thanks again for joining us. Some white-tailed deer prints. The McKinsey River. This is a spot that I've done a lot of shaves from. My very first one was Soap Commanders and Bark. Luna out. Luna come. Good girl. It's too swift. I don't want her going out in it. Normally I wouldn't mind, but as you can see, I think you can probably see that water is moving super fast. So in Bark and probably 6 other shaves I've done from this spot right here. Luna, keep your pants on. Yes, stay. Anywho, so normally I hang my mirror from that branch right here, and then I stand at the base of this skinny one, and you can see it's under several feet of water. This is all from the Pineapple Express that we had come through a couple of weeks ago. Probably went away about a week ago, but it started. Not this previous weekend, but the weekend before that, whatever that would have been, the beginning of December. Because of the mountains and everything and the reservoirs, it's still making its way down. If it wasn't for those reservoirs, most of where I live would be flooded. Certainly where I'm standing, of course.